Hello everyone, it's the Preacher coming at you today with a brand new video. This one is about religion, and specifically how that relates to us as Christians and to God. So religion is something very prevalent today in the modern society. If you live in America or basically any first world country, you probably see religious influences everywhere you turn. Specifically where I live, it's Christian, and other places there may be Islamic relations or Jewish. But religion is there and it's a very prevalent part of our lives. But what does the Bible say about this? What does the Bible say how we should treat religion, how we should treat religion in the eyes of God? So, what I'd like to point out here is that religion can be very dangerous. The Bible makes this very clear. It says in James 1:26 and 27, it says, "If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world." So that's a very big statement there that, if you are making claims that you are a religious person, but you're not doing what you're claiming should be done, then you're not really doing anything religious. It's very harmful, actually. And Paul in the Bible makes a lot of statements like this. I really like the ones made in Galatians, like the first chapter of Galatians. It says, Galatians 1:13 through 16, it says, "For ye have heard of my conversation in times past in the Jews' religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of God and wasted it, and profited in the Jews' religion above many my equals in my own nation, being more exceedingly zealous of the traditions of my fathers. But when it pleased God, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace to reveal his Son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen, immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood." So right away it says that Paul is writing to the Galatians, and he says, all of you've heard about when I was following the Jewish religion, and because I was religious, I was persecuting all these people. As it says in the Bible, he was throwing Christians in jail, he was helping get them killed. He was trying his hardest to get rid of Christianity just because his religion was against it. And after it says that, towards the very end, it says, "To reveal his Son in me, that I might preach in him among the heathen, immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood." And then after that, it goes on to say what he's done after he's been converted to Christianity. So here's the issue with religion a lot of times. With religion, there's two really big issues that I have with it, and you see this in everywhere you look. Number one is that it is blood and flesh. That religion has to have people in it. It has to be man-led. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up. There's a lot of bad people out there leading people astray, like Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen he preaches a lot of doctrinally unsound stuff. He doesn't go by the Bible, but he does lead a lot of people away because he is a man trying to lead a religion. When religion gets its eyes off of God and puts it on a human being, that's when you have issues. And you see this everywhere you look. You see the Catholics look towards the Pope. The Anglican, the Church of England, looks towards the Archbishop of Canterbury, I do believe. I'm sorry, I am not that studied up in Church of England. The Mormons look towards the teachings of Joseph Smith. What he talked about. The Jehovah's Witnesses look towards the big organization that they follow, the Watchtower, I think it's called. But in all these areas, not just in religion, not just in traditional Christianity religions, but in other religions, such as cults, Charles Manson, Jim Jones, all these people were the same thing. They were one guy who stood up and says, "I am the center of this religion, and you should look towards me for your example." And this is very dangerous because people should never be the example that we follow. We should always follow God. And once again, in the first chapter of Galatians earlier on, in Galatians 1 7 through 10, it says, which is not another, talking about, I'll go back to one verse. It says, I marvel that ye are so soon removed from him that called you into the grace of Christ unto another gospel, which is not another, but there be some trouble that some that trouble you, and would pervert the gospel of Christ. But though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you, that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. As we said before, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you that ye have received, let him be accursed. For do I now persuade men or God? So do I seek to please men? For if I pleased men, I should not be the servant of Christ. So right here he's saying, Paul's saying to the Galatians, I'm amazed that you have so quickly turned to another gospel. And he says, but it's not even another gospel, it's just lies. He says, if an angel comes down and starts telling you something that's not gospel, that angel should be cursed. Like if I come to you and say something that is not right with the Bible and with God, it's like I should be accursed. He said, and then that's the thing that people miss, that if someone you're following is going against the Bible or what God has specifically said, you should not listen to them. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up. This is the issues with a lot of mega churches and, churches in general nowadays, that they're teaching something that is pleasurable to men, as Paul says there towards the end. It says, am I meant to please men or to please God? Because if I please men, then I'm not a servant of God. And that's what, this is something that so many people has forgot. If we are trying to dilute the word of God to make it easier for other people, then it's not the word of God anymore. It's just us people trying to please men. It's us as human beings putting ourselves at the center of a religion that, is not focused on God, is not looking towards God, and is leading a lot of people astray. So that's the first big issue with religion, is that it is not God-centered, it's man-centered a lot of times. And the second one is tradition. And once again, you can see this in a lot of places. You see this in the Catholic Church, you see this in the Church of England, you see this in Jehovah's Witnesses. Any branch of Christianity or any religion that has these traditions that you have to do to be right with God, then it's not good. It's leading people away. And I also have a few verses about this. It says back in, let's see here, Matthew 15:3 says, but he answered and said unto them, talking about Jesus talking to them, says, why do ye also transgress the commandment of God by your tradition? So Jesus is talking to them, and it says, why are you going against God just to satisfy your tradition? And something very similar is said in Mark 7:8, when it says, for laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups and many other things, such things like ye do. So he says, specifically, you're laying aside the commandments of God, you're laying aside what God says specifically to satisfy people around you. You're laying aside the commandments of God to satisfy traditions of years past. So this is something very, very dangerous that we do. And that's my big issue with a lot of religious people, that we get in very traditional fields, that, we go to church just because we've always gone to church, or we've read the Bible just because we've always read the Bible and whatever. But, we have to realize that you're not saved by tradition. Jesus actually broke a lot of tradition because, like he said, tradition was hurting people. Tradition is what the Pharisees followed. Paul in another part says that, just ask anyone who knew me. I was the strictest Pharisee out there. I was, by tradition-wise, I was the best person alive. And he says, but tradition was hurting people. Tradition was shutting people, shutting the wall between people and God. It was keeping people away from God. And we really should not be doing that. that traditions, not just like traditions and religion as a whole, but traditions in us as individuals, is a very dangerous and harmful thing that we should really try to avoid. So, in the end, I'd just like to say that religion can be good if it is solely focused around God, around what God is saying, and does not get distracted by humans or traditions or any of that. That our focus should be right on God. The Bible makes it very clear that, if your church is not teaching the right thing, you should leave your church. I'm not like, it's true though. It's if you are going to a church that is not teaching by the Bible, leave that church. If you're underneath a preacher who's teaching against the Bible, you should leave, or bring it up to the church, or like go talk to that preacher. Make sure you didn't hear it wrong, or he said it wrong. If someone is trying to water down the religion to make it easier for human beings, you should not be listening to them, because that's how a lot of people get led away. But I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, favorite, and subscribe, whatever videos. Once again, I hope you're enjoying your Thanksgiving week. I have more videos in mind coming up in the next few days. I may have one later today. I'll see if I have enough time to make it. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy it. God bless you.